All right, this week we're diving into Codatta and their huge mission to build a completely new kind of economy for AI. We're talking about a system where every single piece of knowledge can be traced right back to its human source. So let's break down the blueprint for this on-chain knowledge layer and, what it all could mean for the future of AI. It really all starts with this massive question. And we're not just talking about code here, not at all. We're talking about an entire ecosystem. Think about it. A photographer could get paid every single time their photos used to train an AI model. That's the grand vision we're unpacking today. So at the very heart of this is the mission to build a verifiable knowledge layer for AI that's locked onto the blockchain. You can almost think of it like creating a collective brain for AI, right? A brain where every single memory, every piece of information has a clear, unchangeable origin story. Okay, so how in the world do you actually build a collective brain for AI? Well, you start with a solid blueprint. So let's get into the nitty-gritty, the technical foundation, because this is where we can really see how all the pieces are being put together. The biggest challenge, and it's a huge one, is that real-world data is, well, it's messy. It's not neat and tidy, right? Just think about all the different ways you could describe one single photo. Codatta is designing a system that can handle exactly this kind of complexity, and they've broken it down into a few key scenarios. So the first scenario is pretty straightforward. One photo, but lots of different labels. I might see it and call it a sunset, but you might call it an ocean view, and someone else might say it's golden hour. The system has to be smart enough to handle all of these different, totally valid descriptions for the exact same picture. Next up, it's about combining different pieces of data. Imagine taking a photo, a written description, and maybe even an audio clip, and weaving them all together to create something brand new and way more complex. And then there's meta-labeling. Now, this is where things get really clever. It's not just about labeling the data itself, it's about labeling the labels. So you can upvote somebody's description, you can verify it, or add more context. It creates this whole web of trust and verification. And the whole point of all this? It's to make absolutely sure that every single contributor, no matter how small their part was, gets credit and gets paid for their work. It's all about tracking where every idea came from. Now, to get all this working, Codatta is integrating with a standard called ERC8004. And the best way to think about it is like a game of Candy Crush. Seriously. Instead of a jumbled mess of pieces that don't fit, ERC8004 lets all the different data bits just click together seamlessly. It's like getting that perfect, satisfying combo. And this creates what they call the agentic economy loop. It's this really cool, complete cycle of trust and compensation. It starts with your identity, then you contribute something, and your work gets verified by the community. As you build up a good reputation for quality stuff, you get rewarded for it. Simple as that. But, all this technology, it's just one piece of the puzzle. The other part, which is just as important, is the community. Because in an ecosystem like this, the people are the fuel. And wow, is the community showing up. Get this, over 21,000 people jumped into Codatta's latest challenge. That is a massive number, and it just goes to show you how much excitement is building around this whole project. So what were all those people up to? They were diving headfirst into the Physics Frontier Challenge. They were contributing everything from complex physics problems to photos of just, everyday stuff. The whole goal was to work together to expand AI's understanding of the real world, one contribution at a time. And, of course, when you contribute, you get rewarded. So all 21,000 of those participants can now go and claim their rewards. It's a super simple two-step process, which closes that whole economic loop we were just talking about. But this whole project is about so much more than just tech and community challenges. It's also about digging into the really profound, philosophical questions that this kind of technology brings up. And that takes us to Codatta's creative series. This week, they posed a question that, honestly, it gets right to the very core of this whole project. If all knowledge is just contributed and verified by humans, can an AI ever truly know what is true? And that was the focus of their latest creative episode called AI Tries to Understand. It's just such a powerful reminder that building the future of AI isn't just an engineering problem. It's a deeply, deeply human one. So with all this progress and all these big questions floating around, how's the community actually feeling? Let's take a quick look at the final vibe from the week. A community poll really tells the story here. The overwhelming feeling is optimistic, which Yeah, that makes total sense given all the real progress. But there's also a healthy amount of curiosity and caution in there too, because let's be honest, we're all figuring this out together as we go.
So, to recap the week, we've seen a major technical integration, a super successful community challenge, and a new reward system that's now live. And it's all pushing towards one single goal to bring real human knowledge on chain.
And that leaves us with one final provocative question to chew on. As we build these systems where every piece of AI knowledge can be traced back to a person, are we creating a new kind of truth? One that's defined not by some single authority, but by all of us together?